Leon the Jokester here, tips for comedians. Okay, so I had this question asked the other day about how does the 501c3 book people without having to use the internal budget? And I started thinking to myself, I did a show years ago it was a booking agency and then it was a church. And so now it makes sense to me because, sometimes companies aren't going to tell you how everything works. A lot of times people, they'll act like they're telling you the whole story, but they're really not telling you the whole story. And that's okay in a sense, I guess. But look at me. I'm up and coming. So whenever you see someone hungry for knowledge and wisdom, knowledge is to know something, know the information, and wisdom is to apply it to oneself. So for me, don't just be happy to talk to me, but be happy to guide me in the right direction. Don't let me find out you own a LLC, a nonprofit, 501c3, a corporation, but yet when I ask you questions about those entities, then it's like, well, I think it's this, I think it's that. Why are you thinking when you've been in business over 10, 20 years? So that's why I say at the end of the day, people are interesting people. That's all I got to say about that. So to answer the question, how do they make the money without really doing the budget thing? Well, with the 501c3, that's a nonprofit. So you're not really supposed to touch that money. I'm not saying that there's not nonprofits making money, but what I'm saying is that you're not supposed to touch that money because the IRS, they will get onto you because the people are giving donations. And so in return, you're supposed to use that money to be able to give back into the community, right? And you got to keep tabs on all that stuff. And then you give it to the IRS at the end of the year when you file the taxes. At least that's how my lawyer broke it down to me. So the reality check is, let's say I'm the church. I'm the nonprofit. I'm tax exempt, 501c3. We take donations. We call it tithes and offering. We get it. So I'll call a booking agency and I'll say I need 3 entertainers. So then what happens is you take the funds from the 501c3, you are not spending it on yourself. You're spending it on entertainment for the people in the community that can come out to the event. So to the IRS, to Uncle Sam, it's like, oh, you spent that on booking the comedians, which that's where the booking agency receives their money because they're a for-profit. So they receive money for the 3 comedians, 5 comedians, 10 comedians, whatever. Then the comedians show up at the church or wherever they rented the venue, which again, that's another write-off. And then there's food, pizza, drinks, whatever. They come out, enjoy the show. The reality check is that's how you win with the 501c3 because you're throwing events to get back in the community. You're doing something that's going to benefit somebody. It could be women coming out of prison, men coming out of prison. It could be helping kids with disabilities. It could be a football team. Whoever it is, according to how my lawyer broke it down, you need to be doing something that gives back into the community that's going to benefit the community. That's why the companies donate money so then you can produce these events or whatever. It could be another building that's going to house some people that are just coming home from prison, whatever. So that's pretty much how it works. The reason why I'm learning all of this is because I want to make sure that I understand before I go and invest money and then return. When you have the 501c3, you can get the donors to get involved. You could get the grants. You could get endowments. You could get people to, from church to donate stuff. There's so many different elements and different ways to be able to get funding. And that's why, if you ever notice, people are always trying to have fundraisers, because you raise the funds and then it goes right back into the account to be able to do the right thing, giving back in the community. So it's a lot to learn, but I truly do believe if you're genuine, you have an authentic heart to serve, and then definitely the nonprofit 501c3, that thing is really, really a blessing. And later on with the 501c3, my lawyer told me that you can buy properties. You could buy land, you could buy other areas, you could buy buildings, and you could run different things. Now, when I told him I wanted to open up a comedy club like for Christians or whatever, he didn't really like that idea so much. So it's all good, man. You win some, you lose some. He said, why not open up an event center? And then that way you can rent it out to multiple entities and companies for like wedding events, prom night. But the only problem I would have with that is I never want to own something that allows people to compromise in life. Meaning that why would I open up an event center and then people can rent the place, pay me, but then they go in there and start doing devilish stuff? You know, you have a prom, the DJ playing all kinds of worldly stuff. See, I don't want to be involved when people are renting my venue to worship the wrong stuff. Like when you start worshiping darkness, I don't want your dirty money. Like go rent from them or rent from over there. See, you got to be very careful in this life because people are making say, oh, just make the money. No, I need to sleep well at night, knowing that God, this facility is for you. The reason why he probably told me don't go open up a Christian comedy club is because he realizes that sometimes Christian entities, churches, they may not really support it because it's like, oh, it's a club. How do I know? So then you end up having to file bankruptcy. Your heart was to open up the comedy club for the people, but your heart, sometimes, you may have good intentions to help people, but then in return, the people, the church like, nah, we ain't going to the club. We've been delivered from the club. But I'm like, man, it's all Christian comedians. We don't know. So yeah, I totally get it. But when you say event center, it sounds like it could be rented by Christians, atheists, agnostics, skeptics, anybody. But with that being said, if a Satanist comes to me and says, hey man, here's $10,000. I want to rent your venue so we can have a satanic night. I may not have to be there, but at home, I'm like, man, why is this money on fire? And so, yeah, I just don't, clear conscience. So that's how I'm going to break that thing down. I hope you guys learned something. I'm out.